Valia's breath came in ragged clouds, each exhalation a small victory against the ice that tried to claim her lungs. The snow beneath her boots crunched with a sound like breaking bones, appropriate given the compound fracture in her left leg that painted crimson trails across the white expanse. Her emergency beacon had died 3 hours ago, crushed under the claws of something that had no business existing outside of humanity's worst nightmares. The Vralkir had found her. They materialized from the blizzard like shadows given teeth and hunger. 6 of them, perhaps 7. Valia's vision swam, making accurate counts impossible. Each stood nearly 3 meters tall, their obsidian carapaces gleaming with ice crystals. Mandibles clicking in what she'd learned through her xenobiology training was their hunting language. She'd studied them. God, she'd studied them for 2 years before the colony board approved her research expedition to Kiros 9. The Vralkir were apex predators, existing at the top of a food chain so brutal that every other species on this frozen hell world had evolved specifically to avoid them. Pack hunters, intelligent, utterly remorseless, and Valia was bleeding. The pack leader, she could tell by the silver striations along its carapace, moved closer. Its compound eyes reflected her face 1,000 times over, each reflection showing the same grim determination. Ryak. She'd named him during her observations, after an old Earth legend about a wolf that learned to respect fire. How poetic that she'd become the fire. Valia drew her plasma knife, the only weapon that hadn't been destroyed in her survey craft's crash. The blade hummed to life, casting blue-white light across the snow. "Come on then," she whispered, her voice lost in the wind. "Let's see which of us is more stubborn." Rake's mandibles spread wide, a threat display. The pack circled closer, their movements coordinated with the precision of neurons firing in a single brain. They'd done this countless times. Surrounded prey, waited for shock and blood loss to do most of their work, moved in for the kill. But Valia didn't wait. She lunged forward on her good leg, plasma knife singing through the air. The blade caught Rak across his thorax, scoring a line of bubbling chitin. The pack leader screamed, a sound like tearing metal, and stumbled back. The others attacked. Valia twisted, her injured leg screaming in protest, and drove her knife into the nearest Vralkir's joint, the weak point she'd documented in her notes. The creature's leg collapsed. She rolled, came up with a handful of snow that she flung into another's eyes. Not an attack, a distraction, because humans didn't just fight, they thought. Her hand found a rock, no, not a rock, a chunk of wreckage from her craft, sharp, heavy. She swung it with all the strength her failing body could muster, connecting with a Vralkir's mandible. The crack echoed across the snowfield. More blood joined the snow. Hers and theirs now, painting abstract patterns that told a story of desperate violence. But Valia was slowing. She could feel it. The cold was winning. Her leg had stopped hurting, which meant she was entering the dangerous stages of hypothermia. The plasma knife flickered, its charge dying. Hake circled back, his thorax still smoking from her first strike. But he didn't attack. Instead, he watched. Valia met his 1,000-eyed gaze and did something unexpected. She laughed. It came out as a wet cough, blood speckling her lips, but it was genuine. "You're wondering why I'm still standing, aren't you?" she said. "Your prey doesn't do this. They run, they hide, they die." She shifted her weight, knife raised despite her trembling arms. "But I'm human. We climbed out of caves to touch the stars. We turned predators into pets. We made fire obey us." Another step forward, dragging her ruined leg. "We don't know when to quit." The pack shifted uneasily. Their hunting language had gone silent. "You want to know what makes humans apex predators?" Valia's vision tunneled, darkness creeping in from the edges. "It's not our weapons. It's not our ships." She swayed but didn't fall. "It's that we're too stupid to know when we're beaten." Ryak took a step back, then another. Valia pressed forward, each movement agony, each breath a battle. The plasma knife died completely, but she kept it raised like a talisman. "That's right, back up. Because even if you kill me, and you will, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to make you remember this moment. And next time you smell human blood on the snow, you're going to hesitate." The pack leader's mandibles clicked once, twice, a pattern Valia recognized from her research, a command to retreat. But then something extraordinary happened. Hek's legs folded. His massive body lowered until his thorax touched the snow. The gesture was unmistakable across 1,000 species, 1,000,000 evolutionary paths. Submission. One by one, the other Vralkyr followed. 6 apex predators, each capable of tearing Valea apart, pressed themselves into the snow before a wounded human who could barely stand. Valea's laugh this time was genuine wonder. "You understand," she whispered. "You actually understand." Rayek's compound eyes fixed on her, and Valea saw something she'd never documented, never imagined. Respect. The pack didn't leave. They formed a circle around her, their bodies blocking the wind, creating warmth, standing guard, and when Valea finally collapsed, consciousness slipping away, the last thing she felt was the gentle pressure of Rayek's claw adjusting her position, keeping her face out of the snow. She would wake 14 hours later in her colony's medical bay, hypothermic and delirious, to learn that a Vralkyr pack had carried her to the settlement gates. The security footage would become the most watched recording in human space. 7 apex predators, natural enemies of all warm-blooded life, carefully transporting a wounded human through a blizzard. But that was later. In the moment, Valea simply bled into the snow and the predators knelt, and the universe learned something it had forgotten in its billions of years of tooth and claw.